You've probably heard of a lot of psychoactive substances, right? But Salvia Divinorum, well, it's in a league of its own. It's not really known for fun visuals or feelings of deep connection. Nope. It's known for taking your reality and just completely shattering it in minutes. But what does that actually feel like? We're about to dive into a wild first-hand account of a trip that lasted only 7 minutes, but pretty much changed how one person sees the world forever.
Let's just start with this. This quote comes directly from the guy whose story we're following. He wants to make something crystal clear, right from the get-go. This is not a story about some awesome recreational high. Think of it more as a cautionary tale. This one sentence really sets the stage for the absolutely bonkers journey we're about to get into.
Okay, so why, right? How does someone get to the point where they willingly sign up for this kind of chaos? To get that, we need to rewind a little bit and look at the backstory.
See, the author wasn't some rookie. He was 26, he'd done plenty of mushrooms and LSD. He was kind of looking for the next thing, chasing what he called the strongest legal thing left. And like a lot of us back then, he'd seen those early, kind of ridiculous YouTube videos of people on Salvia turning into couches or freaking out. He mostly laughed them off, thought they were fake, but deep down, a little part of him was curious.
So, while he's looking into it, he finds a review for the super potent 40X extract. And the warning was, pretty chilling. It literally said it would delete you from existence. So, thinking he was being smart and playing it safe, he went for the milder 20X extract instead. As we're about to see, that word mild really didn't apply here.
Now, in the world of psychedelics, set and setting is pretty much everything. It's all about your mindset going in and the environment you're in. And our guy was meticulous about this. He really tried to create the perfect controlled conditions for what he was hoping would be a pure experience.
So, let's just paint the picture. It's late, almost midnight. He's in his bedroom with just a dim red light on. He's got a sober friend, Mike, there to watch him and film it. The dose is tiny, like 0.05 grams of that 20X stuff. And maybe most importantly, there's total silence. He actually told his friend, if I start crawling toward the window, tackle me. He was definitely bracing for something intense. And yeah, intense is a massive understatement. He doesn't even describe this as a trip or a journey. He calls it a 7-minute execution of his reality. So let's break down this timeline and see exactly how his world was dismantled, second by agonizing second.
All right, here's our roadmap through the chaos. The whole thing unfolds in 4 very distinct and, frankly, terrifying phases. It starts with the pull, then moves to the unzipping, then the wheel, and finally, the collapse. And believe me, each one gets stranger than the last.
It all kicks off the instant he exhales. And the first thing he feels isn't mental, it's physical. He said it felt like gravity just tripled, like it was pulling him straight through the floor. And that was just the very beginning, before his entire world started to deconstruct.
And this is where things get just unbelievably weird. The room tilts on its side, he hears a literal zipper sound going past his ear, and then the wall of his bedroom peels away like old wallpaper. And what's behind it? A factory conveyor belt made of giant playing cards. This isn't just seeing things, reality itself was being unzipped right in front of him.
And right here, everything shifts. He goes from being someone watching the madness to being a part of the madness. His whole sense of self just dissolves. He's not a person having an experience anymore. He is the experience.
This is so profoundly strange. He sees his entire life, every single moment, as one of these playing cards on the conveyor belt, and there's this giant, cosmic librarian-type figure sorting through them all. She gets to the card that represents him right now, and with zero emotion, just flicks it. It folds itself into origami and gets filed away in a drawer labeled, "This one thinks he's special." Talk about an ego death. It wasn't a spiritual merging with the universe, it was a bureaucratic dismissal.
And just as violently and mechanically as it all started, it ends. There's no gentle float back to reality, no soft landing. Reality isn't restored, it's just slammed back into place.
The way he puts it is just so powerful. The factory folds up like a pop-up book slamming shut. That zipper sound he heard before, it runs in reverse. Zip! And bam! He's thrown back into his body on the carpet, just gasping for air. It all feels so mechanical, like a machine being abruptly switched off.
So, what happens after your reality gets shredded and then messily taped back together? Let's talk about the immediate aftermath and the psychological effects that lingered long after those 7 minutes were up. This is maybe the most fascinating part. It shows the huge disconnect between what was going on in his head and what was happening in the real world. For him, he was living an eternity, trapped as a bookshelf, fighting not to be filed away. But on the video his friend took, he's just sitting perfectly still for 5 minutes, eyes wide open like a mannequin. The only thing he says the entire time is a little whisper, "Don't let them file me," and then just silence again.
And the trip didn't really end when he came to. For weeks after, he was just haunted by this deep existential dread. The experience had so totally blurred the line between himself and, well, everything else, that he'd look at a normal object like a chair and get this jolt of terror, this flash of a memory of, wait, was I that thing yesterday? So after all of that, what's the takeaway? How do you even start to process something so fundamentally alien to human experience? Let's get into his final analysis and what he ultimately concluded from it all.
I think these analogies he came up with are just perfect for putting it into perspective. He says, mushrooms are like a 6-hour conversation with a wise friend. LSD is like a 12-hour art museum that follows you home. DMT is like a 15-minute alien abduction. But Salvia, he calls it a 6-minute execution of everything you thought was real. That puts it in a whole other category, doesn't it?
After a story like that, you're really left with two big questions. The first one is pretty obvious. After all that pure terror, would he ever do it again?
The answer is a hard, unequivocal, absolutely not. No way.
But that leads to a much more interesting and probably more important question. Does he actually regret it? And his answer really gets to the heart of the whole thing. He says, no. It's like touching a hot stove that also teaches you the stove is an illusion. The pain was real, the experience was terrifying, but he doesn't regret learning the lesson, that the solid reality we all take for granted might not be so solid after all.
And we'll end on this final, pretty haunting thought from him. It's such a powerful statement, right? A reminder that some experiences are so profound, so completely unsettling, that one look is more than enough for a lifetime. It kind of makes you wonder, what other doors are out there, and are we really prepared for what's on the other side?